All right, in our Cavuto clash, this is where we clash. Uncle Sam, will you just close up shop? We know you folks at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau mean well, but these new rules to help folks get homes, well, Ford O'Connell says you're actually blocking millions of them from even getting so much as a simple mortgage. So just cease and desist. Imogen Lloyd Weber doesn't quite agree with that, says now is hardly the time to completely cut the government cord. But your view, Ford, is what? This is adding insult to injury. They're just going to make a bad situation worse? What?
I think it's going to make a bad situation worse. Look, the last government intrusion caused a $1 trillion housing bubble, and we had a slew of foreclosures. Now the housing market is back, and they've set up an arbitrary box checking system that's essentially going to block anywhere from 10 to 50% of potential borrowers. And given how the global economy works, and with Obamacare, you're really blocking here recent retirees, small business owners, and individual contractors. And we know that that's where the economy is because they've set up a system that has no correlation to buying power and net worth. And it's ridiculous. I've even been subjected to it recently with my own situation on trying to close a property. So government out.
Yeah, but I always thought you paid cash for everything. But
I'm trying to more often.
But Imogen, what do you think of that? That the government, they've always had these mortgage work and rework programs, and now something here that could go against that very grain.
Well, look, it's very important to put regulation in place to make sure that nobody who can't afford to keep up with a mortgage ever gets a mortgage ever again. Apparently, it's going to affect between 10 to 50%. Now, if it's 10%, that's probably about right. I can see 10% of people possibly not being able to afford a mortgage. Yes,
home buyers, right?
Exactly. I can possibly see that may make sense. 50%, then obviously that's becoming counterproductive, and the regulations will need to be looked at again. But this bureau has been doing a lot of good. I mean, it's been doing a lot of good lately with debt collection agencies and so forth. So look, something had to be done after the financial crisis. Regulations had to be put into place. So I think on balance, this is a good thing.
So the government is kind of damned if it does, damned if it doesn't. If it gets too easy with the standards, then we just set up another problem. If it gets too tough, it's compounding the problem.
We have to learn the mistakes of the past.
Okay. And this just in, by the way, this is breaking as Imogen was speaking. Michelle Obama has just asked me to co-chair her Let's Move fitness campaign. Not surprising. Says she liked my look, my lifestyle, what she called my chiseled message. And then I woke up. But seriously, is that any more a nightmare than having Shaquille O'Neal pitching it? I'm talking Shaquille O'Neal now. Because he and I aren't separated by much more than a couple of Big Macs. That's if you ask me. But he's joining a very impressive roster of rotund cheerleaders for this thing, including New Jersey senatorial candidate Cory Booker, who I just turned on my TV the other day, and he had become Orson Welles. I love the guy, but what the heck? Anyway, I know he has growing stature. I didn't know he was taking it literally. But the reason why I love this story is Imogen's here to talk about obesity and whether these are the dudes you want pitching, stopping obesity. What do you think?
Yes, I think I should be called your obesity correspondent moving forward.
You would have the look.
What, as the obesity
you don't want
correspondent.
me doing it, you know.
Yeah.
What do you
Obesity. Yeah, he's not the right poster boy for this, Shaq. His face is currently adorned on the front of soda cans that have 270 calories in them and 17
Well, that part I
admire.
But I wouldn't.
Imogen, I got to completely disagree with you here.
Why?
I really, and I'll tell you why. Because Neil, no offense to you, but his Q-score rating is he has 70% recognition with a country, and who suffers most from obesity?
7%.
The black community. Who's more likely to listen to you? Who's the black community going to listen to? Shaquille O'Neal or you? Let's be honest. We live in a TMZ, HBO, ESPN
for your
society.
final appearance here, dude. So you think he's a good spokesman, even though he doesn't look the part? You know what I mean?
Yes, because this is a startup initiative. That's exactly right. This is a startup initiative, and frankly, message purity is not important as messenger marketability. And all I'm saying is that Shaquille O'Neal can penetrate to youth and to the black community, and those are two who are suffering heavily from obesity.
You know, that's a very good point. And
Thank you, Neil.
The message, no, seriously, I mean, for your last point, that's a very good point. But I mean, if it's more important just to get the message out, then who cares whether the messenger is fat?
It is important. I just do wonder if you could not find other messengers, other athletes who perhaps can be busy saying,
yeah, like Michael Jordan. He has it like worse than well out, right?
Look, Americans, you do need to get moving.
Too.
Really? Michael Jordan?
Yeah, he's getting pretty heavy, Neil.
Really? But he's tall. It kind of hides that.
So Shaq,
too. I didn't know that. Well, Shaq to me looks like a continent. He's a big guy.
Well,
so you're anti-big guys pitching a Let's Move campaign, even though he was a basketball superstar. So that resume precedes him.
I'm just saying you could probably find better poster boys and poster girls for this particular one, bearing in mind he's busy marketing soda. If his face wasn't on soda, I would have had less of a problem with it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So if he weren't pitching these products that you hate.
Yeah. that have 17 teaspoons of sugar in a little drink. Yes.
Is that all?
But Imogen, when do people actually listen to facts? Really, at the end of the day, this is about, hitting message saturation. The only way you're going to do this with a budding initiative is basically with marketable messengers. And his Q score is so high, Neil. It's unbelievable. Why do you think he's getting into Buicks that he can't even fit into? Come on.
I always wondered that when
a
Tiger
sad
Woods
state of
also
affairs
would
in
say,
society.
I love this Buick. You never got. All right. That's a interesting point. But you think we'll ever solve the obesity problem?
Well, you sort of have to. It's a public healthcare catastrophe. You sort obesity.
What is it?
You sort
What is a catastrophe?
It's a public obesity.
Obesity is it, right? Great. That's why we have a. I just live and long for the day both of these guys get humongous. It's not happening. Thanks, guys, very, very much. Well.